In today's current market, if you are planning on listing your property for sale, you need to know these 5 things that are going to set your property apart from all the other ones on the market. Stay tuned. We're going to answer those questions for you and let you know what those 5 things are. All right, in the past 5 months, we've seen an obvious shift in our market. I hate to use the word shift. I'm going to call it rebalancing of our market. We've seen what interest rates have done to drive a lot of buyers to kind of wait on the sidelines, not quite ready to buy yet. They've got more options to choose from, not because there's a lot of inventory coming on the market, but because things are sitting on the market a little bit longer. So it's more important now to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward when you're going to list your property. And I'll be honest with you, in the last couple of years, you could basically list a property, throw a couple pictures up there, one with the toilet seat up, no lights on, and that sucker would sell. But that's not what we're dealing with in today's market. So we want to make sure that you're understanding that there are certain things that you can do to make sure that your property, if you are truly looking to sell it, is going to get looked at, is going to get an offer, and is going to get sold. So I've asked Nick Brown with Coldwell Banker Realty to join me. We're in the same brokerage, and he is a regional sales specialist. Yep. And he actually works amongst 9 Coldwell Banker brokerage offices across the Gulf Coast. And so he has a very unique position, being able to have kind of an overview of what's going on in the market. So I asked him to come and share some of his knowledge with us because he's been in the business for a very long time. And he's just a cool dude. So I was like, hey, come on along. So Nick, give people a little bit of a background about you and then kind of give us that first overview of what you see is going on in the market these days.
Well, thanks first of all, Sharon, for having me. Yeah, I have been in the business about 20 years. I've got a lot of experience managing, selling in 3 different states. I'm a broker, so I've got a unique perspective of market activity across the nation. So it doesn't matter whether you're in Florida, whether you're in Tallahassee, whether you're up in Tennessee, it's all really relative to what we're going to talk about. So recently, I read a report that NAR, the National Association of Realtors, has put out that in September marked the 4th consecutive month where we've seen a decline in properties going under contract. So if you're looking to sell your property, you really need to make sure that you put it in the best possible position to sell.
Yeah, I agree with that. So there's 5 things that Nick has keyed in on that would help you to potentially get your property sold a lot faster. So the number 1 thing is pricing it right. So he wants to talk a little bit about that.
It's so important. You know, a lot of sellers out there, let's be honest, want to get as much as they can out of their home. But oftentimes they think they can get more than what it's really worth. So that's why it's so imperative to have a professional come in, do a detailed market analysis, and list it appropriately. We know the first 2 weeks of the listing period are the most important, and oftentimes your first offer is going to be your best offer. So you've got to have it in the right spot and price it right.
And I agree with that. And one of the things that I think happened a lot in the last couple of years is that a lot of realtors, because there's almost 2,000 realtors in our area, that's a lot. And there's, you know, not a lot of them are full-time realtors. They're not immersed in this business every single day. So when they got a chance to get in front of a seller and to, you know, get potentially that listing, the appointment went like, so hey seller, what do you want to get for it? What
$6 million.
Oh, all right, let's list it.
Yeah.
And without any real information, background information, a true competitive market analysis that said, hey, this is what really your property will bring. Now, in the last couple of years, a lot of those people have been able to throw out those prices and get it, okay? But those days, I'm sorry, are gone, at least for now, at least for, you know, the foreseeable future. So it's important to have a realtor, I would say like myself, come in and give you a true competitive market analysis of what the real numbers are so you can make a decision. And I'll be honest with you, I recently turned down a listing appointment. I had a gentleman call me. He had just purchased a property not even a year ago. He did no changes to the property or in slapping some paint on the outside of the home. And he said, my price is $800,000 is what I want it listed for. And he had bought it for $550,000.
Wow.
And I said, so where do you, I'm trying not to, where do you come up with the $800,000? I'm just curious. And he's like, well, that's what other agents told me I could get for it. And I said, well, I'll be honest with you, before I've even run the competitive market analysis, that number is not achievable. That's not realistic. And so I'd be more than happy to put that data together and come over and share that with you. But I'm just going to be honest, that's just a waste of your time to even put that on the market, that price. And so we didn't meet, and another brokerage picked it up, and it's out there in the market right now, and it will stay on the market.
Well, it's a disservice to the seller. So in my opinion, you did him a huge service by saying, I'm not going to do that. It's not in your best interest to do it.
And I think that was some of the frustrations too from realtors like myself, I've been in business for 17 years, is I would see properties come on the market and I'd be like, why did the realtor take that listing? Why did they do it? And the whole concept is, well, if they didn't, somebody else would. Well, guess what? That helped exasperate the whole situation and the frenzy that we were in. So now that we're in a more stabilized market, sellers have real hard data that can be pulled from, like, say 5 months ago when things were really selling hot, and that's kind of the starting point.
Yeah.
So the other thing that's really important is another key thing is to take care of basic repairs prior to listing.
Absolutely. You know, recently a NAR study told us that 36% of consumers that were looking to purchase didn't want to purchase something that needed repairs. So again, I go back to what we talked about at the beginning. You have to make sure that the property is in the best possible position to sell. You're going to see a lower days on the market and yield a higher sales price, in my opinion, if you do these things up front.
Yeah, and it's really easy. One thing I do as a realtor is I come over to your house, we do a good property walkthrough of whether it's a house or a condo. And if there's obvious repairs that need to be made, I'm going to suggest you go ahead and do that. Because if you don't, guess what? If I'm seeing it, any buyer walking in the door is going to see it. If you get an offer on your house, there's going to be an inspection. So I just got through talking with John Shelton with Aim Higher Inspection, and we talked about a pre-listing inspection, which in some properties where they're older, there's obviously issues. It's a good thing to get that knowledge up front, knock those things out. And sometimes it don't have to cost a lot. It just may be a little bit elbow grease for you to go to Home Depot, pick up a few things, and you can eliminate some things that are going to stand out to buyers.
Exactly.
So with that, let's talk about cleaning up and decluttering.
Yeah, so it's really important to make sure that you take your personalization out of it. You know, a fresh coat of paint of a neutral color goes a really long way. Some larger, maybe some outdated furniture, thin it out. You know, you really want to make it as neutral and to appeal to as many buyers as possible.
Yeah, and I did another video, which I'll put at the end of this one. It's called Are You Showtime Ready? And it talked a lot about this. So I had a listing, and it's now the property is going to be closing this month, but I had a listing that I went to, and the house was very unorganized. We'll just kind of leave it like that. It's like, it wasn't super clean. There was a lot of just random stuff. There was a lot, and I had to have kind of an uncomfortable conversation with the seller and say, look, there'll be a lot of realtors that will go ahead and put your house on the market tomorrow and take pictures, but you only get that one first shot and a good impression. And so these are the things that I would suggest you need to do to get your property, your home ready to put on the market. And it was, you know, decluttering and putting things in the right place and cleaning up this and cleaning up that and everything.
Yeah.
And it took them literally 3 weeks to get it done.
Yeah.
But when they completed it, you know, they felt really good about completing it, and then I was able to come in there and do some tweaking and move some furniture around, and, you know, have my photographer do some special things and things like that. But it just looks so much better. So that's really important to do as well. And then you also talked about pricing it, taking care of the basic repairs, cleaning up, decluttering, freshening up, brightening up. Bouncing off of that thing better smell good when you walk in the door. And you better have every light bulb on.
I always say it's a good idea to use a professional cleaner to get it done. I know a lot of you guys out there are fantastic cleaning, but if you have a professional company come in, it's clean, it's fresh, to Sharon's point. That's one of the second or third things that someone's going to notice when they come in. They see it visually and then they smell it. So it's going to be important to have a professional do it.
Exactly. And then one of the last things you can do is also potentially partner with a professional stager. And this would really be important if you have left the property and you've moved on and it is an empty home. So talk a little bit about that.
Well, that's key. I mean, you know, 83% of buyer's agents tell us that staged properties make the buyer feel more comfortable and give them the ability to imagine it being their own. Yeah. And the average priced staged home sells 5 to 11 times faster. So it makes a difference.
And a lot of times too, so think about this. You removed all your furniture. Rooms look smaller without furniture. There's sometimes where the floor plan may be a little quirky and people can't quite figure it out. And a lot of people just can't visualize how a room is going to lay out. So if you actually have furniture in there, and it's not as expensive as you think it is. I currently have one of my listings where the seller has paid to have it staged, and it's basically he's doing the whole house, and it was very reasonable. And at the end of the day, it's really going to make a difference how that property sells. Now, if you don't have the resources to fully stage it, at the bare minimum, when I have my photographer come in, I have had him do virtual staging. I do that on every empty home where they don't want to live stage it. And that way he can put in the furniture and the artwork and all that kind of stuff. But keep in mind, that's just what a buyer sees online. That's not what they're going to see when they walk in the door. But it's something that a service I offer. There's no charge to the seller to do it. It's just a little extra thing that I think will help people visualize the property. So I think the most important thing also is to hire the right realtor that can help guide you through, the whole process in preparing your house, not only to get it on the market, but the goal is to get it closed. There's a lot of properties that will go on the market, they get under contract, they come back on the market, but you want to get the property closed. And I do have another video about that, from contract to close, that you could reference to give you some more insight on that. I really appreciate you being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for all your information, and hopefully people understand the importance of getting these things done. And again, having the right realtor to come in that can guide you through, really give you the pros and cons of getting repairs done, and give you the value of getting these things accomplished so you can get it on the market and get the price that you want and get it closed. So please take a moment to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate all the support. I do put out educational videos every single week. Please feel free to like or comment and share. And if you have some more ideas for videos that you'd like me to do in the future, put it in the comment section, and I'll definitely love to do that for you. If you're ready to start your search, get on my website, get that going. You'll get new properties delivered to your inbox every single day. You'll be able to see the actives, the pending, the solds. And when you're ready to list your property, go onto my website as well, because I have a lot of content and information about listing your property. And then when you're ready, give me a call. I'll come out and we'll have a chat. Thank you so much for watching today. Have a great day from Panama City Beach.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.